Am I gonna trade my player, my all NBA player, away because he didn't show up in the game 7?
I think the biggest obstacle that OKC is now going to have to face next year, Gil, they are on the hook for $250 million. They over, and they asked SGA, and I'll play it. They asked SGA about what's going to happen, what the future looks like, et cetera, et cetera, and he gave a pretty good answer. I'll play it real quick.
How much input might you give to management and ownership, and what might that input be?
I will give zero input. I will let Sam Presti, the greatest GM ever, do his job.
Short, sweet, to the point, but they're no longer playing with house money. They're at that time where that apron starts to come down. So I'm asking you, what changes need to be made in the offseason for OKC to, get back to that promised land?
You know what I want? I want the people that said when they paid this money, and I said this market is too small to house 3 max players, and people looked at me like I was an idiot. Like, this is not Los Angeles. This is not Golden State. Like, what I mean by that is, if you look at New York's ticket prices, right? Some of those seats say what, $120,000, $200,000, right? Okay. If you go to OKC in the championship and you look at their ticket prices on the floor, there's a price that they just can't go above because the economy in Oklahoma is not top tier A1. So when you're paying A1 dollars to 3 players in a small city, that is not sustainable. I said it then, like, wait, they're not going to be able to keep all 3 of these players. So they got to win a championship within the next 3 years. It only became 2 years before now we got to make a decision. Of course you do. All their money kicks in at the same time. So what do they do now? One, they got their championship. So now all this shit that they were talking about, dynasties, were gonna take 5 years and they're gonna run the tables in 5 years, just goes out of the window because you have to make moves today. But SGA said something that is true. The smartest GM in the game, where obviously he's seen this coming. Obviously he knows he has to make decisions to maximize on Shea and his championship window and still keep the Oklahoma championship window extended, right? You can probably go into, how much will they lose if they go into next year with the same team? Because I know they can't take in draft picks, so they can't keep both their draft picks, right? Or they're already, what, 20 million behind?
Teams above the second apron face the following strict rules. No contract aggregation. Teams cannot combine multiple players and salaries into a single package. No cash in trades. Franchises are prohibited from sending cash to another team in any trade deal. No trade exceptions.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of workarounds. But I think that, one, that there should be some type of amendment. If you drafted a player, it shouldn't be penalized against this apron. So a player like Chet contract shouldn't count as much as it does towards a penalty for this team. You know, Hargenstein got there, or Jalen Williams, neither of them two. Right now, if there was a rule that kind of helped teams retain their own players, just like a bird right?
Mm-hmm.
Your bird right to your team. There should be some type of amendment that helps teams keep the players that they drafted, and it doesn't count against the second apron. So that should be something that's adjusted. But, you know, it's not right now, so they're going to have to make some type of move. Now, the question is, do you move Chet with the performance he had? If you're an idiot, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're an idiot, right? Am I gonna trade my player, my all NBA player, away because he didn't show up in the game 7? And the worst 2 performances of the playoffs was these 2 games, where he had 7 game 1, and then 2 game 2. 4, he had 4. And I'm going to factor those 2 games into the 15 games he had. No, I am not trading him because of his performance in Game 7 or in this series alone. It's a collective of everything. I'm not going to make this decision on a game or a series. I got a full season of an all NBA player, right? 69 games and 15 games in a regular season. And he made defensive first team, 3rd team all NBA. He was an all-star, and he was runner-up to defensive player of the year. And I'm going to get rid of him because he took 2 shots? No. Lesson learned. Hey, this is something I say, hey, Chet, you know the feeling of what this feels like. You know if you let your team down or not. That's on you. And that's something you're going to have to grow in this summer and be better next season. I don't need to whip him or beat him up mentally. He knows what happened, how he feels, how he felt in this series, and he let his teammates down. So you let him grow from this, and hopefully he comes back a stronger Chet. Right? I can't beat on him and then get rid of him and then, don't give him a chance to bounce back. Careers are made from the bounce back. A game is made from the bounce back, right? Mm-hmm. If I had 6 today and if I'm averaging 30 and I had 6 today, you don't cut me. I got a game tomorrow. Let me show you what I can do tomorrow. Boom, 50 in the game winner. That's how that works. Unfortunately, he don't have another game to bounce back, so he's gonna have to bounce back next season. Hopefully, he gets put into another game 7. Hopefully, it's against Wemby. And hopefully he can go out there and got 40 and 20 against him. The bounce back. He's savoring these opportunities. That game 1, that game 2. Because they're going to have them 2 play within the first couple games. Hopefully it's fucking Christmas. And then I can get him on that Christmas stage and get a man 50. Hey, Shay, sit this one out. Hey, I owe y'all something. I got to do this for us. I got to set an example today for if we played him again in the Western Conference Finals. Because if both these teams are intact, this is going to be another matchup.
I see what you're saying. I get the sentiment. We're gonna have to see it pan out. But they do ultimately they got some tough decisions to make this offseason.
Of course. It's tough decisions every offseason. It was a tough decision if I was going to pay them. If I was going to pay them early, or because right now they would have been up right now, right? This would have been their summer, and that money would have been more. So it was cheaper paying them, last year, because now Chet is an All NBA player, an All-Star. So even with this performance, he would have been looking at a whole different bag.